the God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Claremont Center for Spiritual Living. How are you this morning? Nice to see all of you. We have a little bit of reverb up here, sound guys, just a little echo. I mean, which would be great if I'm singing, but you don't want me to do that. That's not a good thing. Anyway. Yeah, right. right. All right, well, let's get ourselves started here. I'm going to let Ed move a couple things and do his thing. That might help a little bit. Oh, yeah, actually, that is a little bit better for me. You guys good? All right. Okay, so we're going to start with a song. You may or may not have song sheets in your program, so that's all right, just fake it. Yeah. Remember, it starts with we. You can always come in on the we. All right, so go ahead, guys. There it is.
Together as a family, we have come here as we are. We have come with arms wide open. We have gathered here in love.
Okay, you get bonus points for all of that. Good on you there. We got almost every line. We're really close, really close. Well, I'm Reverend Tracy, delighted to have all of you here today. And I want to say hello to our friends that join us online. Everybody wave. We love this community. This is a community that we come together in at least every week if we can, or join us online or later if we can, to remind ourselves and remember that life is more than the day-to-day, that we are more than our to-do list, that wherever we are on our spiritual path, there is a home for us, there is a place to belong, there is a way to live our best life. And when we do that, we encourage others to do the same. So welcome, and thank you all for being here today. So, catch my breath. Our practitioner today is Reverend Mary. She's doing our opening prayer and reading for us. And our musician is our very own Reverend Drak. Yeah. So let's start by getting centered, please. I'm going to invite you to clear your lap and clear your minds and get yourself settled wherever you are. And let the sound of the bowl take you within. For there is a place within us that is the heart and center of all of life. There is a place that allows us to know truth. And it is here from this place within our own hearts that we remember that you and I and Spirit are one.
So in this place of oneness, and in this day, this month of releasing, we also remember loving kindness. To be gentle with ourselves. To be gentle with each other. to always remember to start with loving kindness. So we begin this morning in that joy of release, in that joy of sharing that loving kindness. This is a place we know where we can come and receive and give. So in that place of collectedness, in that place of let's get together and make it happen, knowing that we are always provided with the strength. God is our source. In that knowing, in that feeling of togetherness and oneness and releasing, we begin this morning. And so it is. So we begin. So I was debating back and forth. We're talking about releasing today, and I was telling Reverend Tracy, well, I can go lightweight or I can go heavyweight. And so I've got the heavyweight one in front of me, but I thought, okay, this is not the talk, this is just the reading. So we can kind of hear it and be gentle with ourselves, you know? We can kind of be gentle because it's good to remind ourselves a little bit of this as we go. So my reading is from Deepak Chopra's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and it's law number 7, detachment. Actually, it's the 6th law. Sorry about that. So detachment is a common spiritual concept, but it is widely misunderstood. Many people think that to detach from the world means to isolate oneself from it or give up things that are most important in our life. But that's not the true spiritual meaning of detachment. In order to get anything in the physical world, you have to detach from the outcome and be in the process, says Deepak Chopra. The real meaning of detachment is not that you are not involved in the world, but it has to do with how you respond and react to the world. If you are completely absorbed in the events that happen to you in the world, then you will be at mercy of everything around you. Every little challenge or upset would have the potential to trigger you and create a negative spiral in your life. I think of it being like a ping pong ball. If, however, you take the time to develop a higher state of awareness, you can become aware of the origin of negative emotions and begin to detach from them. You can detach from your desires while still wanting them. Many people think this means giving up the things you want and associate detachment with sacrifice. But in reality, detachment is freedom and is the gateway towards experiencing everything that you do want in life. As with each of the 7 laws, Chopra outlines 3 steps that you can take to apply this law. First, you commit to staying detached. The first step is simply to commit to this idea. Okay, so just the idea. Okay. While it sounds simple, it's a lot easier to intend to detach than to actually remain uninvolved when stresses crop up throughout your day. As they do, try to remember your decision and do the best you can to step back. It's like the farmer where the horse breaks his leg and then all the stuff happens and is it good? Is it bad? No. Accept uncertainty, okay? Now that's the harder one. Accept uncertainty. Like it or not, uncertainty is part of life. When we try to control every detail of our lives, we are almost always very attached to them. We need everything to go perfectly or else we risk a spiral. So we don't want to do that. Step 3, step into the field of possibilities. That's a nice one. Remember the teaching on the law of pure potentiality. Here's where you get to apply it. Wherever you feel attached to an outcome or circumstance you're faced with, remember that it is but one expression of infinite energy. This, or something better, is where we need to rest ourselves. Thank you.
So if you noticed, it's not where you just snap your fingers and you're detached and you're doing great. There's steps, isn't there? Yeah. So I don't know about you, this letting go and going with the flow stuff. I don't always slide right into it right away. So, and I was thinking about that when I picked out this piece. It's actually a rather classical piece of music. It's by Robert Schumann. And it's a part of a thing called papillons, which is French for butterflies, because there's a whole bunch of little pieces in here, and it's like a butterfly flitting from one little piece to another. I picked this one particular little piece because when I was playing it, it made me think about how we go through this process with letting go. We'll kind of start to get into the flow of things, and I'll play it in a way like we're kind of getting into it, and then things start to go kind of nice. And then we hit a little bump in the road, and that's kind of hard. And then we might kind of move through that bump, and then it's kind of like a little bit of a victory. It's like, oh, I actually did this. I did this. But you can't sit in that forever. And then you just kind of go back into the flow again, kind of like chop wood, carry water. Have you heard of that? First enlightenment, then just chop wood and carry water. So this is kind of a different piece, but if you can kind of feel it, I hope you do, kind of this story in it. I got a kick out of it.
Very fun. Love that. That was delightful. All right, so today we are lighting our candle for human rights. So this week was the 60th anniversary of the Selma Civil Rights March. And yesterday was International Women's Day. That's what I say. The slogan of International Women's Day is "Women of the World Unite." No offense, men, but occasionally we need our own cheer. And it first started. It was designated as a holiday, an international holiday, in 1975. But it first started with the labor movements at the turn of the 20th century in America and across Europe, and it kicked off in 1908. There were thousands of female garment workers, the people who make the clothes, who went on strike and marched through New York City to protest the working conditions. And labor leaders started commemorating the strike every year, and that turned into this holiday, this day of recognition where it's not just for women, but it's about recognizing and honoring people for their work and their sacrifices. To understand that we as human beings can't help but take a lot of things for granted, and sometimes that means we take each other for granted. We forget that that bite of, turkey that we put into our mouths, or that salad, or that brownie, took a community of people to produce. The seeds and the growth and the picking and the transporting and the actual preparing, and then the packaging and the selling and the you taking it home, and who made your plate that you put it on. We forget that everything we do is interconnected with everyone else. So the light for today is human rights, that we all have the right to be seen, to be heard, to be valued. So our title today is Choose Release. Remember, this month we're talking about choices, the power of choices. And of course I looked up the word release because that's always fun. And there's a lot of different meanings for the word release. It's a verb and a noun. It means to lift, to let go, to leave behind. It can also mean to relax or loosen, to stretch out, like a muscle releases. It's a sense of ease, setting free, forgiving. If it's a press report, it's about making information available. It's an abatement of distress. And there's a lot of distress in our world right now. So anything that talks about abating distress has my vote. I'll choose that. I will choose release. It's the opposite of constriction. And we all have a sense of constriction somewhere in our lives, either spirit, mind, or body. They come and they go. Our situation changes, or our mood changes, or our spiritual practice changes, and that sense of being confined or stuck or tied down or overwhelmed can give way to something more open, more available, more possibility forward. But I'll choose release whenever I can. I'll choose to lift the heaviness that comes from worry or fear. I'll choose to loosen that sense of being tied down, that sense of restriction. I'll set my spirit free. I'll set my mind free. I'll always choose to ease the pain. I'll always want to make myself available to more of life's flow. Because what constriction does is it cuts off the flow. And the truth is, the flow of life is infinite. The supply of life is infinite. The possibilities of life are infinite if we are an open channel, which is great and easy on a good day. And on a harder day, it's harder. Yes? It's like, wow, I've got money in my bank account. This is awesome. I'm going to give here, and I'm going to help there, and I'm going to do a little something nice for myself and the people I love and the community I support. And then, you have that extra expense, and the account numbers go down, and then what happens? If you're in your spiritual practice, you go buy yourself a steak dinner. That's what Ernest Holmes did. Anytime he felt a little like his bank account was a little low, he'd treat himself to something really nice to remind himself that abundance continues to flow. But what is our first reaction? Keep it all. Don't spend it. And what does that bring us? More constriction. So this idea of choosing release is to look at our lives and see where there are bottlenecks, where there are places where we feel tight instead of at ease, and choose to change that. Now, all spiritual traditions teach practices to open us up to life's flow, right? We're in the middle of Ramadan, which is the Muslim holiday, and it includes prayer and fasting, right? They don't eat during the daylight hours, they eat at night. And it's about reflection, spiritual reflection. And the idea is to focus attention on what is important spiritually by paying less attention to what you do in the physical realm, and by keeping your attention on prayer and on the reason for celebrating the holiday. It's also the season of Lent, which is what I'm going to talk about today. So traditionally, especially in Western Catholicism, this is the season of fasting and prayer and penitence and reflecting on your life and trying to clean up your act so that you're ready for the new life that Easter represents. And in our culture, it tends to be associated with sin and error and needing to be forgiven and hoping for grace. In the Eastern Orthodox tradition, it's a little bit different. It doesn't start with ashes. It doesn't start with reminders, dust to dust. It starts instead with a sense of community, and it does that by starting with an apology. So like the Jewish tradition of the High Holy Days, the very first act of Lent in the Eastern Orthodox tradition is a service called Forgiveness Vespers. It's the night before Lent starts. And everyone in the community goes around to everyone else in the room, priests, bishops, deacons, lay people, everybody, and asks each other for forgiveness. Hey, whatever I did do or should have done or left undone, please forgive me. And what this does is it brings a sense of community, because truly we all make mistakes that we wish we had done differently or hadn't done at all. We all want everyone to know that we're doing our best. I hope you see that in me. I'm doing my best. If I haven't done my best or I have somehow hurt you or offended you, please forgive me. This is a very innate tendency of human beings with each other, because when we clear the air, right? When we clear the air in a relationship, we're clearing out anything that might obstruct our sense of connection or might obstruct the flow of love. So we begin with this apology, and the idea is if you have a big grievance with somebody, you should take care of it before you get to that service, right? In other words, make your amends with people. That's how we serve spirit. That's how we support life. And there is fasting in the Eastern Orthodox tradition. This is from the writings of Father Nathan Monk, who is very blasphemous, but he makes me laugh, and he really does have spiritual truth in all that he writes. He used to be an Eastern Orthodox priest. And he says, during Lent, the diet is nearly vegan, no meat, no oil, cheeses, etc. You don't have to think about giving something to give up. You don't have to think about something to give up. It's already written in the program guide. In other words, you're going to eat this for the next 40 days. But what that does is it frees you up to not even think about it. Like, it's already there. And it's not about giving up something, right? In the Western tradition, you give up chocolate. You give up, you don't do amusement type things. It's supposed to be somber and reflective, and it's not about, joy in life. It's about, hey, get your act together. Be serious here. The Eastern Orthodox tradition is more about recognizing community and not about giving something up, but allowing your life to give way to the flow of the divine. The emphasis is on your ability to appreciate life from a spiritual perspective instead of the very human way we get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, right? It's like Mary was saying, take a step back and think of your life a little bit differently. Think of yourself a little bit differently. So this sense of relief and release and forgiveness brings, instead of starting out sort of mourning life and the mistakes made in life and, oh, woe is me and I better fix this, instead it's more a sense of everyone deserves a fresh start from debt. Right? What is forgiveness but the forgiveness of a debt? You owe me something because you treated me badly. I owe you something because I forgot to be nice to you. What if there were no debt? What if we started fresh? What if we gave each other the room to show up anew? And that's what this holiday is. This is about making room, clearing space, allowing for that deep breath of inspiration, clearing the air that we breathe. To breathe in is to inspire, in other words, to bring spirit in. So if we can make a little room so that we can breathe more deeply, then we are going to show up as the joy of life. We are going to appreciate the people standing in front of us. We're going to have more room to work with the relationships we have, the relationships we want, the joy and aspiration of our own life, and let others have theirs. Now, one way to quiet your mind, in other words, to focus your attention, right? Because this holiday is about refocusing on the spiritual perspective of life. That's what all these rules are for, is to help you refocus. One way to get your mind occupied with something beneficial to you is to do something physical. We've talked about this before. You know, if you make a to-do list and then check it off, what you're doing, when you make the list, you're telling your subconscious you're going to check it off. That's what lists are for. So you're setting something in motion inside of you that you may not even be aware of at any given moment. But remember, once you set something in motion, the universe says yes. So when you clear something out physically, you're telling your subconscious, you're telling the universe, I'm making room, I'm making space, I need a little breathing room. I need room for something new. So if you follow me on Facebook or you've seen our church posts on Facebook, there's a 40-day challenge. And the 40-day challenge is once a day, take one thing in your house and put it in a bag that you are willing to let go of. It's taking up space, it doesn't serve you anymore, it doesn't fit you anymore, you really don't need to eat those, whatever they are. Put it in a bag. One thing a day, every day for 40 days. At the end of the 40 days, you take your bag and you give it away. You donate it, if it's food products, you go to the food bank, or you go to the Goodwill store, or you give it away to a family, but you're done with it. And you're telling yourself you do not have to stay attached to every single thing you have or you've accumulated in the last 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of your life. Come on, some of you have things that you've had for 60 years. I know you do. Which is great if it's a picture of your grandma. But it's not great. Susie's laughing. No comment, no judgment here. Just know that you probably can create a little more space in your life. And when we do that physically, it helps us to do that on a spiritual and a mental level as well. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're willing to let go of that board game you bought 5 years ago, I have one, it's called Farkle. It's a dice game. It's really fun to play. It's still in its cellophane since I learned to play it like 7 years ago. So probably never going to play it at home without the friends who introduced me to it, right? I can let that go. It's figurative, it's small, it takes up this much room, but you know what? It takes up this much room. And you multiply that by everything else in my hall closet, and guess what? There's room to make room. And you know what the universe does when you make room? It brings you something new and wonderful. Ernest Holmes tells us that we have to let go of the good in order to accept the greater. It's not that the things I have aren't wonderful, but they're not all serving me now. And some of them are downright toxic to the energy level that I have, right? The clutter that you see on top of a desk, it gets our mind thinks it has to do something about it. So every time we sit down and we see that cluttered surface, we're spending energy on something we're not even going to take care of right now. But that energy could be redirected. So when you have a holiday like Lent or Ramadan or the Jewish High Holy Days, you're focusing where you want your energy to go. Isn't that what we teach? Choose what you focus on. Choose where you put your energy. And part of this spiritual process is to uncover all of the habits that we have, that we've accumulated, that we haven't questioned for years, that are sucking the energy right out of us. Do that with me. You can all suck the energy out. Yeah, see? You know exactly what that is. So, we take some kind of action to make some kind of room, whether it's physical or mental or spiritual. What are the ways in which you habitually think about yourself? Right? You all have names you call yourself at some point. In a moment of frustration or anger or fear, you will call yourself something, right? So you're judging yourself. And the key to clearing out and making room is not to judge the judgment. That's tricky. So how do you not judge that you're judging? You observe. Oh, I'm calling myself names again. Or I'm telling myself what I should have done. Or I'm making myself wrong. Or I'm questioning whether or not I'm wrong because someone else yelled at me. Or whatever your particular form is. That's a habit. That's a neurological path in your brain. You can change that. And the way you change is you notice, oh, it's happening. What do I do now? Let's try responding with kindness. What would you say to a teenager who was beating themselves up for something? Because you know teenagers always beat themselves up for stuff. Right? They want to be right about everything and they just assume that they're always wrong about everything. That's what being a teenager is. So if you can identify that you're calling yourself something you shouldn't or you're judging yourself in some way that's rather harsh, you can respond with kindness. You can tell yourself, oh, you know what? I'm learning. I'm growing. It's okay. I'm okay. Whatever that was. It's all right. I'll grow from this. I can let it go. I can release the habitual thought into this lake of kindness and compassion and empathy. And when I do that, I clear my mind. I make some room. I invite in love. I invite in kindness. And you know what? When I feel it in myself, I have it to give. So if you're having a bad day and you snap at me, I have a lake of kindness that I can draw from, that I can offer, that I can be. And that breaks the cycle of toxic relationships, of negative conversations, of building and expediting chaos instead of de-escalating. So we want to create a focal point in our lives that serves us, that brings us back to a sense of nurturing, of energy, of love, so that we can be that in the world, right? So to redirect your energy, you've got to ask yourself, first of all, what is it that takes away or pulls my energy away from my heart's aspirations, the things I really love and value? What takes away from that? Maybe it's certain people. Maybe it's certain places. Maybe it's a job you don't like. Maybe it's a family member you don't like. Right? There's some things that just suck it out of us. So if you can identify what those things are, then ask yourself, well, what nurtures and restores my sense of clarity and joy and energy to do what I love to do? And when you do that, you can actually feel it change you. So somebody tell me, what takes away your energy? What pulls it away? What's that? Worry. Nobody else? Anger. Anger can take away that energy, yes. Injustice.
Did I say the president?
The president. That's true, yes. Absolutely, it can be a person.
Selfish decisions.
Selfish, people being selfish.
People pleasing?
People pleasing. That definitely can drain your energy. Or holding back so that you don't offend anybody. That holding back. Or having been taught not to get angry so you don't. But you know, it has to go somewhere because you do get angry. So these are the things that take our energy, that trap us in a feeling of helplessness or overwhelm, that make us think that we don't have any choices. So what is it then that nurtures you, that restores you, that brings you back to a sense of courage, that brings you back to a sense of alignment with yourself? Like that, coming to the center, coming to church. Yeah. Taking a class. Affirmations. So redesigning what you say in your head, right? Yeah, spending time with people like-minded, but also people that you like. Dancing. Yeah, there you go. Physical activity of some sort. Being out in nature. The sunshine after a lot of rainy days, or the rain after a drought. Right? It doesn't have to be any one thing. It just needs to feed your soul. It needs to be something beyond what our senses take in every day. It has to be a conscious choice. It needs to be our spiritual practice. That whole idea of self-care, of self-talk, of compassion and kindness, those are not just pretty words for Sunday morning. Those are the things that we as human beings require in order to be in the world in a positive way. I don't want to contribute to the chaos. I don't want to activate negative energy that's going to bring someone else down or somehow injure someone. I want to be part of what brings love, of what brings light, of what lifts people up. Which means I have to let go of the stuff that holds me down, that pulls me back from participating in life, that makes me afraid, that makes me worry. I need to know a way to deal with those things so that I can show up. And the way for me that I do that is through spiritual practice. Sometimes that looks like meditation. Sometimes it looks like writing a talk because it makes me figure out what I want to say to you, which means I got to know for myself. Sometimes it means I go outside. Sometimes it means I go have dinner with friends. Whatever it means to you, it's worth doing. Because right now the world needs you. The world needs your light. The world needs your love and kindness. The world needs your ideas of how it can be better. We need to know, we need to be able to trust that there is a way forward that is positive. And we can do that. We can do that. So in this season, I encourage you for the next 40 days to think about spirit, mind, and body. To do something physical, like one thing a day gets purged out of your house physically, or maybe you finally clean out the trunk of your car, or something physical. Maybe what you choose to do is to be of service to someone else. Remember the 10 things I forget who I quoted earlier, the 10 things you do for depression is go be of service to someone and then repeat 9 times. Because when we are of service, it breaks open our perspective, yes? We may still need to deal with whatever it is we need to deal with, but we don't feel stuck. We don't feel pushed down. We don't feel tied down. We have a sense of release, which creates space, which allows for something more. In the next 40 days, do something for your mind. Pay attention to when you're judging yourself and others. Practice feeding into that lake of kindness so that you can draw from it for yourself and for others. Remind yourself you're learning, you're growing, you're being transformed by life, and you're choosing the direction of that transformation. And for your spirit, clear the air. Right? Clear the air so that you can breathe more deeply. Breathing more deeply is to feed the soul, is to remember the truth of who you are beyond the world. So it's all a process of focusing on what's in the way so that you can let it go, so that you can clear it out. It's about setting an intention to get back in touch with what you align with as your value and your inspiration, your power, really. It's a way of focusing away from your distractions. Because we all have distractions. I just as soon play on my phone as do something in the world that requires me to get up off my couch. Not every day. But we all have something like that, right? The thing is, we're worthy of the good that we are, and the world needs us. And so we're called to create space in this season and make ourselves ready and available for spring, for new life, for new blossoming, for new growth, for a new way forward. Namaste. So I invite you to join me in a moment of prayer. Breathing into that heart space, breathing into that center of energy that is love and light and joy and all things of the Spirit. Breathing in that sense of connection with the greater power of life, and breathing out any sense of limitation, just letting it go. For truly, this life is one of love, of creativity, of beauty. There are human expressions of kindness and compassion that are the expressions of Spirit through and as each one of us. And so I speak my word, that which is within us as love and beauty and peace and joy, that which lives in each heart as courage and power and presence, is what shines through us, shines from us, lights up the area around us. And that everything we choose to say and do and think simply opens a greater passageway for all of that love and beauty to be expressed. For in this knowing, for knowing the spiritual truth in each heart, in this knowing is the power of creation, the power to heal, the power to recognize and appreciate all that is good, all that is beautiful, all that is love. And I am grateful for love, grateful for what it does, grateful for how it makes me feel, grateful for seeing that love reflected in the eyes of others, for that is truly the connection of all humanity, one to another. And in this connection is our strength, our ability to change the world, our ability to align with that which nourishes life. And so I simply release this word into law, into the consciousness of the one mind, into the power of all life. For I know that as I think and believe, so it unfolds before me, in space, in time, on time, always, and in all ways. And so it is. All right, right, so you have an affirmation in your bulletin. I invite you to repeat after me. There we go. Today I practice release and flow. I allow what is constricted to become the energy of conscious transformation. I am empowered. And so it is. All right, let's invite Drak back for a little more music, please. This is the way you invite him back. There you go.
Glad you like that. I was originally going to sing a song I wrote, but singing makes me cough, so I'm not doing it. Instead, I'm going to play a piece I've played before. It's called Robins. Before I get into it, okay, so you guys have heard this. I'm going to go Bible on you. This is Matthew verse 6, 26 through 34. I'm sure you've heard it. Look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns. Yet Heavenly Father, as this is old talk, I know, feeds them, basically spirit. And you are not of more value than they are? Who of you, I like this wording, which of you by worrying can add 1 cubit to his stature? Man, if worrying made me add that, I'd be so tall by now. Oh my God. So why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Now if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, God will not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? You know, I think if Jesus or anybody like that sat across from us right now, he'd have on blue jeans and a T-shirt, and he'd say, guys, stop worrying. There's infinite possibilities out there. Listen to your friend Ernest over there. Go get yourself a steak. Yeah. So this piece that I'm going to play is called Robins, and in it I've taken the song of a robin that sat outside my window until I actually committed this to the keyboard and then never came back again. I found that fascinating. Committed its song in there, and there's a robins call back and forth to one another, and I come from the Pacific Northwest where it rains a lot, so they would get really animated when it would rain. So that's what I've captured in this piano piece, at least to the best of my ability, and I'm playing this now because robins, squirrels, ants, whatever, you name it, they don't sit around constricted and worried. They go with the flow. They are nature, and that is God expressing itself so beautifully through nature. So I'm going to bring this to you so we can sit and kind of have a moment of flow. All right.
Delightful, just delightful. All right, so let's invite our ushers to come forward, please. And if you are someone online, your contributions can be made through our website or through our weekly e-blast. We also have a text to give phone number, which is posted that you can use, or you are here in the center, we'll do it right here in these baskets. And what I know is that whatever you're placing in the basket, what you're really doing is showing yourself that you have enough to share. And when we show ourselves that we have enough to share, giving and receiving become easy, because that is truly the flow of life as abundance. And so in gratitude, we say together our prosperity affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. All right. All right, so thank you, everyone. And a few announcements for this week. We start with a thank you to Betty for the beautiful flowers today. Sponsoring flowers is a way to brighten up Sunday morning, and you get to take them home with you when you're done. So we are grateful, and the spring colors are coming, right? We're getting into the brighter. I'm going to have to get rid of the Christmas decor of the silk flowers here pretty soon. Yeah, those sunflowers are back in the hall somewhere. I'll find them. Let's see. We have our Wednesday night meditation at 6:30 on Zoom. The link is on the website or in the e-blast. This coming Saturday is Reiki Share. So at 1 o'clock here in the chapel, there's a Reiki healing service. And we are looking for more Reiki masters to participate in the healing. And of course, you are all welcome to come and receive. It's a lovely way of shifting your energy for the better. It's just a lovely thing to do for yourself, and something that the practitioners really love offering. The Reiki practitioners, not the prayer practitioners who like to offer prayer, just making that clear. Okay, let's see. We have coming up in a few weeks on Sunday, March 30th, after service in Holmes Hall, we have a workshop being offered by our own Reverend David Rodriguez, yay, talking about the power to move your world that starts with your mind. It's a love offering basis. It's going to be a great hands-on, he'll bring everything, you write down what you want to remember, and it's a great experiential, really practicing, understanding and feeling your way into the power of your word and how that changes things for you and the world. So that's Sunday, March 30th at noon in Holmes Hall, right next door. Let's see, I have settled on a new class based on our interest list. We're going to be teaching Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. This is a foundations level class. It is going to be Sundays after service, except for Easter Sunday. We'll start on April 6th, skip Easter, and it's 6 weeks long total. 12:30 to 2:30 here at the center. And there should be flyers in the back. I'm sorry, I didn't look to see. I normally have one up here, but there are flyers and there is a sign-up sheet with the information on it. So if you're ready to put these principles into practice in your own life, and we're focusing on several areas, well-being, prosperity and abundance, something else, I think relationship, if I'm not mistaken. It's just a great way to take what we talk about on Sunday and use it for yourself. That's what the class is, all about using it for yourself. Excuse me. We've also started our Seas Candy Yum Raising, kind of like fundraising, only tastes better. You know you're going to buy candy for Easter, right? If not for you, you're going to say it's for the grandkids, but then you're probably going to need a couple little things for yourself, right? Right? Don't lie to me. I'm your minister. Okay. There are sheets in the back. There's a QR code in the e-blast and on the website that you can key into. It's an online store, So you can order everything, it comes straight to you. I will tell you, they tend to ship really fast. So if you order now, you'll have time to order again before Easter. Not that I would know how that works. Shelley would normally be here. She's not here today, but normally she's our question and answer person for the Seas Candy. But if you've done this before, you know how well it works. So that's all up and ready to go. We still have our upcoming chorale concert, Claremont Chorale. Yeah, I see tickets and flyers moving around the room. Okay, so talk to Susie, talk to Drak. Treat yourself to a lovely afternoon of music. And the date again? March 22nd, so a couple weeks, 4 p.m. And it's got a lot of other stuff in it too. It's not just grown-ups standing up there singing songs to you. It's also kids, yes, the youth choir, the youth orchestra, yeah, all kinds of good stuff going on. So talk to Susie, talk to Drak, and make plans for the 22nd. Okay. Anything else? I think we're good to go. All right, well, let's stand up, move to the sides of the room, and clap to Eddie Watkins Jr.
Take a look at the person next to you and say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color. And can should we unite? In honor of the God in each other, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love.
Someone come knocking at my back door somewhere alone about midnight. Someone come knocking at my back door somewhere alone about midnight. I wonder, yes, I really, really wonder who could that someone be? Somewhere alone about 11:44, someone knocking at my back door. Hurried to the kitchen to look what I could see. Behind the little sleep I had, I barely could see. Someone come knocking at my back door, just like they did before. She was a foxy little mama with great big hips, pretty long hair, pretty red lips. 5'2" with eyes of blue, he knew exactly what to do. She went bam, 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 and boom, 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 knocking at my back door.
This cat is wrong. I had a ringside seat. She had great big ears and funny little feet. She's 6 feet 2, dressed polka dot blue, and she looked like something from the Brookville Zoo. Bam, 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 and a boom, 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 knocking at my back door. Bam, bam, booming. Yeah, bam, bam, booming. Yeah, bam, bam, booming. Yeah, bam, bam, booming. Yeah, bam, 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 and a boom, 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 knocking at my back door.
Pretty well, all things considered.
This is really good. The opening song that we sing along to needs to be a little louder so people feel protected.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it was Henry's first time doing almost all the sound, so he's still getting it down.
Yeah, I did good. Hey.
Sorry to see you late. Bring forward. I was glad over here.